the first handout that you received finished with Om, but I explained it first. Next, we'll go have a look a little bit at the chakra system. Remember last week, I mentioned that when you practice yoga correctly, not as a form of sports or exercise, gymnastics, but actually standing still, leading to concentration, automatically turning you into a contemplative human being, many yoga practitioners actually become emotionally unstable. Throughout the years, I've had people come to me and say, Ron, what on earth is happening with me? I practice yoga for 2 years, sometimes 2 times a day, and I feel good in a way, but on the other hand, why am I so emotional? Why do I feel so much hurt, so much pain? And the reason is this. It's described in the handout, the mention of Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, who has brought back the proper way of practicing yoga, which starts not in the physical body, but in the mental body, which is called Ajna Chakra. And the reason that this is important, the reason why Sri Aurobindo Ghosh was a real yogi. And as you can see in the handout, he was kind of an extremist, a radical. And because of that, the Indian government threw him in jail many times. Because he was very stubborn and very rebellious. And that is a stage that most yogis go through. Later, Ananda takes over. Ananda is bliss or unconditional love. But you go through a stage in which you are kind of a radical, very stubborn and kind of like an extremist. Sri Aurobindo Ghosh's point was that many people who practice yoga incorrectly, focusing on the physical part of yoga, they end up like the students we have also met throughout the years, becoming healthier. That ball of energy is bigger and bigger, but the more energy you have, the more tendency there is to be unstable. So we experience increased sensitivity towards ourselves and other people's misery, and we become very emotional, often without understanding why. And it is something that you didn't experience before you started practicing yoga. So you think, yoga is supposed to be good for me, so what is going on? And I do feel good, that is true, but why do I feel so emotional? Why am I suffering like this? That is because we are not working from Ajna Chakra. When you start practicing yoga without meditation, you start stimulating the chakras from the bottom. And it is exactly at the bottom where there is your fear, anxiety, doubt, and worry. It is at the bottom, below the diaphragm, where all your desires are located, and your ego and ambition. And those three lead to the ugly part of the human being manifesting. These three elements lead to emotional instability, instinctive reactions that often lead to disharmony, to conflict. So often when you see an advertisement for yoga, there is written yoga and meditation. You've seen that? Not correct, because yoga is meditation. If yoga does not contain meditation, technically it's not yoga. I'm being a little bit an extremist here, but It's important that you know this. The meditation is a crucial part of yoga practice. Without meditation, chaos occurs. You build more and more energy, you become healthier and healthier. But that energy wants to manifest, and if there is no control mechanism, it leads to instability. How does Ajna Chakra prevent that? Ajna Chakra is like a general. Ajna Chakra is like a boss. We have an expression that says mind over matter. It's not entirely correct, but it does touch the point here. You train the mind to control everything that is below, all the emotions and desires. That is something that you learn from your parents. It is something that you learn in school, but not in the correct way. What you learn from your parents or what you learn in school is not to control based on consciousness, but you learn to control based on oppression, suppression. Basically ignoring what you feel. That is why many people in our societies, in the East and in the West, are disconnected. You think what you have to do is what your parents told you, what your teachers told you, what society, the government is telling you, the media is telling you. But actually you don't know anymore really what you yourself actually want in life. Many people have this dilemma. They're very good at following up on what the surroundings, the environment has told them and taught them to do. But in the process, they have lost connection with their true characteristics, their heart's content. And as a result of that, we are busy with our career, with our work, with our family, but we feel a hole in our heart. We feel something is lacking. And although we have all the luxuries, we have a house, we have 3 meals a day, we can go on a vacation once or twice a year, we still feel empty. And that is because of that disconnect. Yoga, in a very natural way, leads to more and more becoming connected. Like it or not, it's a good thing. Because it means that less and less will you listen to what others tell you to do, and more will you listen to what your heart tells you to do. Remember, I came to Korea just following my heart. If I had listened to other people, they would have told me, hey, you're crazy. Just get a job and buy a house and start a family. That is what everybody thinks is the right thing to do. I followed my heart. Then 1.5 years ago, my dog, 15 years old, died, and I said, I don't want to have a dog anymore. Never. It's too painful when she dies and I'm alone. But then a dog shows up in the park and we look each other in the eyes, and other people look at the dog and think, oh my God, scary. And I think, hey, you need help. And there's nobody here to help you. Only me. It becomes a duty that I could not ignore. If I had ignored it out of self-interest, thinking that, oh my God, it's going to turn my life upside down, I would have regretted for the rest of the life. The police, the fire brigade, the park authorities, everybody was passing by on a daily basis to see how to catch this dog. They would have hunted him down with a gun with an injection needle to sedate. He would have gone through a lot of trauma that he already had a lot of. Most people are so disconnected, they don't see that, they don't feel that. For me, it was so obvious, there was no way. Now I have 2 dogs, you know. That is following your heart. And the thing is that on the surface, at first, the first impression is, oh my God, But if you further down the line, you see that everything has a purpose. The universe has a purpose. You know, since 10 years ago, since the existence of YouTube, people have told me, Ron, what you should do on YouTube. Everybody should know about it. And I've always said, that is too complicated. I am from before the generation of computers and I know nothing about computers. I need help. Sooner or later somebody will come and help me. Of course, I thought some computer whiz would come along and help me, but the universe had other plans and they sent Pada to me. Pada is the first dog that came. 3 months later, his sister joined us, and his sister, Bobby, I couldn't touch her. I couldn't put a harness on. I couldn't take her out. So after 3 months, her nails became too long, and she destroyed half of the interior of my house. Basically, everything. My bed and the linoleum and... I shouldn't even think about it. So somebody from the neighborhood contacted the program Dongunongjak Animal Farm, and they sent the dog specialist to my house. So they put cameras in every room, and so that program was on YouTube, on Facebook, and later it was on TV. So people write me message in Korean, Ron, we love Wada and Bobby. So please keep us updated with videos. So I look at my phone and I open YouTube for the first time. And I see this little camera and I push the button and upload the video. Oh, this is so easy. But the universe thought, if you don't listen to all those people that tell you how to start with YouTube, I'll send you Pada. So Pada came, Bobby came. Now finally, this stubborn Dutch yogi finally knows how to use YouTube. Now we have 2 channels, one for Pada and Bobby, one for yoga. And I love it. So that is following your heart. Following your heart in other people's mind often doesn't make sense. And they think, oh my God, where is that heading? But in the end, all the dots connect and wonderful things happen that otherwise would never have happened. So you need a lot of courage. And that courage you find here. Not in the bottom, because that is where your fear is. Okay? So you have Muladhara, Svadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, and Vishuddha chakra. Below the diaphragm, you have your lower emotions and desires. Above the diaphragm, before Ajna chakra, you have higher emotions and desires. Fear, desire, all forms of desire, including sexual desire. Ego and ambition. Here you have compassion, unconditional love, ananda. Then you have creativity, art. And here, this is what it is all about. This is the general, the commander-in-chief. And it is through meditation, mind control, that you develop this control tool. Actually, our education system, where you go to school from the age of 3 or 4 until the age of 20, or sometimes even later, actually is designed for this purpose. But it has lost its purpose. It does lead to development of Ajna chakra, but in a very one-sided way, creating another disharmony. First there was the disharmony because only the physical body was active, we were instinctive, hunter-gatherers. Then we invented education, and now our physical body is weakening, while the mental body is very strong. There's no balance. I've had parents come to my yoga classes with their child, 15, 16, 17 years old. And they say, I didn't come here for me, I came for my child. My child is sick and we went to the doctor. And the doctor says, your child is not sick, your child needs to move. So first they go to the gym and they hire a private trainer. But a child that is in a bad physical condition, every movement hurts. You know, a child is not like an adult. When something hurts, they don't like it, they don't want to do it anymore. And a parent cannot force them. So first the PT, it doesn't work. So then they try the bicycle, they try the treadmill, they try the Nordic walk. But whatever they do, it hurts. So at last, they say, okay, let's try yoga, because yoga is easy. They think. But usually after one time, they don't come back. Why? Because it hurts. What happened is, there is so much emphasis on education, mental development. The physical body, children need to play, run around, climb trees, join a sports club where they go 2-3 times a week, go hiking with their friends in the weekend. But they don't. They go from one school to another, hagwon to another. So mentally very highly developed, intellectually, physically becoming weak. And that's a very sad situation, because when they try to imagine what condition they will be in when they are older, the foundation of physical health needs to be laid when you're young, and it is laid simply by movement. Running around, fooling around, playing in the playground on a daily basis. So the whole point is we need to find a balance, and in yoga, if you do it correctly, you have the perfect balance. You have your asana practice, but it has to be topped off with meditation. And you already noticed, when you practice yoga in the correct way, at the end of your yoga, your asana practice, you sit down on your cushion, and it goes very naturally. You feel great, and you close your eyes, and you're gone. So the physical exercise is designed to prepare you for the mental exercise. Now when you do mental exercise, there are many impressions that come to you that you were not aware of before. And that is why yoga students, if they don't practice meditation and are not being initiated into the philosophy behind yoga, that is when people get into trouble. Because a human being has a tendency to function on a subconscious level. And when you function on a subconscious level, you act in an impulse, instinctively. Your meditation and a teacher that shows you what to expect and more importantly how to deal with that will allow you from Ajna Chakra to control what is happening below. Okay? The handout is called Dharana, Ajna and Om. Om we talked about. Ajna Chakra, that is the commander-in-chief, the general. And Dharana, that is actually the start of meditation practice. Dharana, Dhyana, and finally the third step is Samadhi. Dharana is in fact concentration. Not meditation yet, it's concentration. We are actually, where we are now, we are actually one stage before. We are actually in observation. Because getting a grip on your mind activity, your subconsciousness, starts simply with observing what you feel, what you think, what you hear. Today not so nice. What you hear? It sounds like being at the dentist and being. But starts with observation, and when you get a little bit of grip on what's going on inside you, you then start to canalize. Remember the principle of a laser beam? You then start to canalize, and you do that by controlling your thought. And that is dharana, concentration. If concentration becomes more and more prolonged, then technically you can call it dhyana. And dhyana is actual meditation. And actual meditation means that you are capable of consecutive moments of thoughtlessness of at least 11 seconds at a time. 11 seconds of thoughtlessness, disturbed by a thought or another movement, mental, emotional movement, followed by another moment of 11 seconds, because you step in and take control, disturbed, and again, followed by, that is what dhyana is. The samadhi is another story. There's a lot of mystery about samadhi, nobody can really explain what it is. It's actually very simple. The technique is very simple. Being in pure samadhi, however, is not easy, because samadhi is not possible without dhyana, and dhyana is not possible without dharana. Dharana is not possible without your ability to observe what's going on inside your mind. But technically, samadhi is so simple that you don't believe that it's true. We will come back to that later, because we have many other things to discuss. Ajna chakra. What goes on inside the head is this. You have the cerebellum, the big lump of the brain, where all the functions of the body are controlled, and you have a smaller part of the brain. It's called cerebellum. Cerebrum, the big lumps of the brain, cerebellum, small lumps of the brain. Now, ancient people were very intuitive. That is why stories of the ancient past are full of mystery, of spirits, of ghosts, of gods. That is because ancient people did not have an intellect that was developed systematically by education, or a yoga training for that matter. So, ancient people, they had all their energy here. Modern people, because of overemphasis on theoretical education, they have all their energy here. Now you remember from last week that you have only a limited amount of energy. If all your energy is here, then this doesn't function anymore. To understand that, look at the teenager who is getting sick, physically weak, because all their energy is here, while it is not in their physical body, so they deteriorate, they become weak and eventually sick. It's the same in the brain. If all your energy is in the cerebrum, then there is no functioning in the cerebellum, because the energy is simply not there. Why is this significant? Because in these small lumps of the brain, that is where your intuition is located. Wisdom, insight, vision, they're all located here. So remember last week I said there are people with 3 degrees from university, and yet when you talk with them, it seems like there is no common sense in what they are saying. Have you ever experienced something like that? And yet, on the other hand, you meet somebody who cannot even write their own name, can't read or write, illiterate. You sit down with them on a bench, and they throw out all kinds of wisdom. insights of life, and you think, how is this possible? Such a simple person, with so much insight and wisdom. This is what explains how that is possible. And I told you, if you can make a balance between the two, genius occurs. So yes, intellectual training through education, but with room for creativity, with room to play, with room to ask questions, even to your teacher. Because that is where you develop, or where you leave energy in the cerebellum. And interestingly, from the insights of yoga, it is not the development of this one that is important. It's only important to a certain point. But this one without that one is useless. But that one without this one is also useless. Remember the yin-yang model, black and white with each another color eye. It's not this one or that one, they have to work together. Because you can have an amazing intuition, clairvoyance. If you cannot translate that, if you cannot interpret what you are feeling intuitively, it's also useless. So the brain, which we think is the dominating part, is actually the secretary of the important part, where insight, wisdom, vision, intuition are located. And you will notice as a result of proper yoga practice very soon that indeed your perception changes, that indeed you become more sensitive, that indeed you start to understand things that you were not able to understand before. Technically, what is happening is exactly this. You feed more energy to the intuition, and your education that you've had so far helps you to interpret what you see, to interpret what you feel, what you intuit. This is why focusing on Ajna Chakra is so important. Now one more thing, it's going to be a long story, but we do this in the beginning and later we talk about it again. But we do this in the beginning because it's better to do it right from the beginning. How do you meditate? How many kinds of meditation are there? Hundreds? How many yogas are there, remember? Only one. Meditation, you can give it many names and many forms, but there is only one meditation. Nada. Anybody speak Spanish? What does it mean, nada? Yeah, unfortunately it's not Spanish, so you have to work. It's Sanskrit. There are some other words in Sanskrit that resemble Spanish, like tapas, who has the opposite meaning. Nada is mentioned in chapter 1 of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Most yoga teachers have never heard of nada. But it's very important because that's how you meditate, that is how you canalize your energy. That is how you, when you have thoughts, involuntary thoughts in your meditation, how you ignore the thought and come back to your concentration. Dharana. How you go back to nada. So what is nada? If you read the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it's described as the inner sound. It's described as the mysterious sound. There are many people practicing meditation, talking about meditation, teaching meditation, maybe even talking about the mystery sound, but they've never heard nada, because they think it's only a story. Nada, in Ilsan I told about nada. I talk about nada, the first time nobody recognizes it. The next time, 90% of all the students actually recognize nada. It's that simple. Nada is the sound of your energy circulation. So everybody can hear nada. The problem is that we are so focused on the outside world, we are so focused on the gross world, that we do not perceive the subtle world anymore. But that is exactly what happens when you close your eyes in silence. First you hear the noise from the neighbors, then you hear the noise maybe from the air conditioner, the refrigerator, but after a couple of minutes, having paid attention to the gross sounds, your perception becomes automatically more refined, and you start feeling your blood circulation. You start feeling your heart pumping, and you start hearing nada. What is nada? Nada is like Om, is a vibration. Om is the vibration of the universe, nada is the vibration of you. Your small ball of energy within the big ball of energy called the universe. Because energy is a vibration. If nada is not there anymore, then you're dead, technically, physically. So what is nada? Nada is a high-pitched sound. It's like a whistle in your ears, right? It's like a ringing sound in your ears. Stick up your hand if you recognize what I'm talking about. Do you hear a ringing sound in your ears? Not yet. Only 3 hands. The first time that I heard about nada was when I had my yoga teachings from Ajita. And I was just like you. First, I had no idea what it was about. But after a little reflection, I remember as a child, I was always listening to nada. In Holland, children need to go to bed at 6 o'clock after dinner. So your eyes are still like saucers. You want to play, you want to fool around, or watch TV, but 6 o'clock. No exception. Only with New Year's Eve. That's the only exception in a year. The rest, weekend or not, always 6 o'clock. So you lie in your bed and you're staring at the ceiling, and time doesn't pass, so you think that it's hours and hours, and you're lying there. What I remember is that I was always listening to nada while I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling. This buzz inside your ears, actually, it's in and around your head. You hear it when you're sick. When you're sick, your body is using a lot of energy to heal you. So the more energy circulates, the stronger nada becomes. You hear nada when you're sick. Next time when you have a flu, pay attention when you're lying in your bed sniffing and coughing. Because nada is very strong. Nada is also strong when you're exhausted, when you're tired. Because Shiva energy is pouring in to recover your balance. When you're sick, Shiva energy is responsible for healing. When you're exhausted, Shiva energy is responsible for recovery. A lot of Shiva energy pouring in through the top, making nada much stronger than in a normal condition. Pay attention. And next time, when we, after asana, sit on our cushion, you will see it's there. Hopefully by the time they take a break for some coffee or lunch below, so that you can sit in silence. But nada is very natural. And once you start hearing it, like me, you will remember moments that you were listening to nada. I was listening to, in Holland, even though the weather in Holland sucks, every district has its own indoor and outdoor swimming pool. Many swimming pools, indoor and outdoor. So the whole summer vacation, 6 weeks, even when it's raining, not everybody, but I was like that, we go to the pool. Now when it rains you don't hear nada, but when the sun is shining and you hear the laughter around you, you go into the cold water, you come out and you feel the sun, the warmth on your skin, you're lying on your towel, and you hear the laughter, and you feel the wind blowing through your hair, which I had a lot in the past. You feel the warmth of the sun rays on your skin, and you hear nada. Pay attention. It's in those special moments that nada is there. Before sleep, when you're sick, when you're tired, that is when they are kind of extreme, when it is kind of extreme. But after asana practice, when you have stimulated your energy circulation and you sit down on your cushion, you will see that nada is there, very naturally. What is the point in all of this? We use nada as our point of focus. So, let's take another round before we wipe everything. This is your head, and when you have many thoughts, your energy goes outwards. Remember the house in Siberia? So you're losing a lot of energy, your attention is out. When you meditate, to turn observation into concentration, this is what you need to do, and this is where you actually have to work. The technique is simple, but you need the strength and the discipline to keep doing this again and again. Nada is inside your head, but you don't hear nada when you have a thought. So when you meditate, you become aware of the thought. The moment you become aware of the thought, you say, no, I am now busy with meditation, so no thoughts. You curb the thought. You deny the thought and you go back to nada. 2 seconds later, you have another thought. The moment you become aware of it, back to nada. And again. Back to nada. Again and again and again. And you do this 100 times in the 5 or 10 minutes that we meditate. If you just sit there and you just continue to observe, that is not meditation. That doesn't mean that it's bad, but you create more transformation, you create more harmony if you actually grab the bull by the horns, curb your thoughts, and every time, relentlessly almost, which is a word that sounds like violence, so you relentlessly meet again and again and again. Don't get tired of what you're doing, just bring it there. What happens is, you get better and better at it in a very natural way, and there comes a point that you sit down on your cushion, you close your eyes and you're meditating. You don't have to do all the work anymore. But before you reach that point, you have to change the way you function mentally. So, nada. I will mention it after asana, and before we meditate, I will mention it. From now on, every class.